for you to take over a program that hadn't won a dual meet in over 15 years. You have the opportunity, like, which is
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
dual meet, like not like a conference meet, a dual meet.
Dual meet, yeah.
That is, yeah. I
0 in
mean,
300.
yeah. And it's a beautiful thing because you have a blank slate, but then that also comes with pressure, which is also a privilege. So I would love to know, when you're asking the university president for things, what are those little things that you did to change the trajectory completely of
Yeah.
this program? And I know what they are because I've read up on them, but like the paint, like the vibe, all of that stuff. Can you talk about that and how you just changed the culture of the swim team?
Yeah, 100%. The first things first is we have to understand that swimming is not something that within the Black culture, that is prominent, right? Within the culture, the most prominent sports are obviously going to be football and basketball. So being at an HBCU, we knew there were several things we needed to do, and that they had to be very distinct and different for this particular, university. Unfortunately, as well, when I inherited the program, I inherited a program that was in NCAA violations for APR. So our men's team only had 16 hours of practice that they were allowed comparative to the normal 20 hours per week that you can make mandatory. In addition, we were not allowed to have any post-conference or post-season competition. So being able to advance forward when I inherited the program, was not going to be something that our men's program could do. So first things first, we had to take care of the academics. So we started instituting a lot of different things that helped in more than just the immediate way. So the immediate thing we needed to do better academically. There's no swimming and diving program at the collegiate level that needs to be failing in the classroom. Like, we just can't do that. Right. We need to be at the very highest level of the academic side, within our sports program. So we started instituting mandatory team study hall twice a week. It didn't matter how many, credits you had. It didn't matter how many TikTok followers you got. It didn't matter your GPA or anything else, because what we found is the more we brought the team together, the better they started to bond. And we were absolutely able to start to institute more of the direction that the program was going to be going in those moments. And they get a chance to talk within each other, because what we found is the team was pretty separated. They were cool and they were connected, but there were like pockets of people who, were what we say, they were kicking it together. And we wanted to bring more cohesion. So we instituted mandatory team study hall. Every freshman had to meet with myself during that time at least once a week. And we would ask 3 questions. How are classes? How is swim? How is everything else? That meeting could last 3 minutes or 3 hours. And it was beautiful to see how the relationship started to evolve within the team, as well as how it started to evolve within myself as the coach and the rest of the team. Then we needed to start taking care of the environment. We have a really nice facility. It's a great facility for a mid-major. It's a 6-lane, 25-yard pool with a 1-meter springboard. But we have this amazing seating balcony that has 422 seats. And all of the aesthetics were off. So all of the walls were this dreary gray. We get decent amount of sunlight, but even within those gray walls, it just, it wasn't appealing. It was like going into a dungeon. And then the seats were a kind of a powder blue. It wasn't even the school color. Our school colors are blue and white with a hint of red, and it was just off. So we started hitting up our donors and our sponsors, and we got paint. We had the entire area painted. We're very fortunate too. We had a rebrand of our logo. So we were able to capitalize on that opportunity of getting the new logo put into our natatorium. And we just kept continuing to polish it up, make it a space where our swimmers, our coaches, and everyone who came to be in the environment were going to feel like, okay, this is kind of a chill place. This is cool, right? And that started to evolve where our student athletes, our swimmers, they started to spend more time there. Because what's worse, right? In swimming, you have to get up early. The pool's usually going to be cold. You're going to have a really tough set, and then you start to think about it, oh, am I really going to get the gains from all this work that I'm doing? And I got to be in an environment that I'm not really feeling it in. So we paid a lot of attention to the environment, changing it around, and we started seeing our swimmers and our divers hanging out at the pool more. Like, they would sit there and they would be studying, They would eat lunch there or dinner. They would just meet there. And that was something that just happened organically. That was really, really amazing. So paying attention to the environment and the spaces and making sure that everybody involved were going to be, enjoy that space. Then we wanted to pay attention to the competitive space. As you brought up, we had not won a dual meet in almost 15 years. We were like 0 and 300. We were like, okay, how can we get our team, who is now training harder, doing a little bit better, to be able to capture some supporters, so some fans. So the first thing we did is we hired an on deck DJ for every single home meet. And that's different because before we had like somebody with their playlist, which is really cool, but the DJ can read the environment, no different than how a DJ at a club reads the environment in the room. Is like, okay, it's getting a little low in here. Let me turn on this banger, right? This song, I know this is the one everybody wants to hear, and it's going to really raise the intensity and level. And that was able to help us capture more fans. And again, in the Black culture, 64% of African Americans have limited or no swimming ability. So the people coming to our swim meets, they didn't know the difference between butterfly and the doggy paddle. They don't know the difference between the mile, right, and in the 400 IM. So it was cool to be able to keep them in the stands versus, oh, I'll come see it for 15 minutes. I don't know what's going on. Let me get out of here. They were like, no, 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 no. The DJ is really on it. Let me see what the next set, the song is going to be and how is this going to keep going. And then number two, we started having food at the swim meets. So we have a vendor that comes and they have, just like if you were going to a basketball game or a football game or a baseball game, popcorn and chips and things like that, all the things that swimmers aren't supposed to eat, right? The vendor was not for our team. It was for the spectators. So now you're not going to leave the meet, which is usually pretty long, right? It's usually hot in there. They're not going to leave the meet because, oh, I'm hungry. Let me go here and not come back. So we were able to keep them there. And then the third thing, as I told the team, is we need to give them a product that they, would appreciate. And for us, that's better swims, better dives. We need to put ourselves in a space where we can be competitive. And what we love is when we saw the energy rise in the stands, it made our swimmers swim faster and our divers dive better. And then our supporters started to understand swimming is very simple. Who touched the wall first, right? So they started seeing our swimmers touching the wall first, and they would go crazy. So that energy just became so organic and amazing within the spaces. And it's something that we've continued to do year in and year out, to the point now where we have teams who only want to compete at our pool. That's how the impetus of Battle at the Berg came about. We swam against Georgetown. Coach Jack Levitt over there is an amazing program. He's doing big things there. They just won Big East Conference. They came over to us one year, and coach was like, man, we love this environment. We only want to swim here. Let's do it again next year. And I was like, cool. And then, started thinking, how can we make this even bigger? And that's how Battle of the Berg came up. But I always tease because it makes our swimmers and divers do better, but it also makes the other team do better. So I got to figure that out. Like, I don't want to give, the other teams the mojo to swim so fast and dive so well against us. Like, I just need it just to be for us, but it's great for the sport. It's great for the environment. And I'm loving seeing, other teams, other programs, other events kind of taking elements that fit for them. And in those instances, because it's making our sport even more relevant outside of the Olympic years, and something people are talking about, and we're happy to be at the lead for that.